He doesn't follow markets. He follows meaning. In a world full of noise, Roberto Lopez built something that speaks in silence. Through agave, endurance, and conviction forged in fire. Zumbador isn't about approval. It's about identity. Every drop carries the roar of Jalisco, the scars of the harvest, and the soul of a man who refused to bend. This spirit is built by struggle, redefined by resilience, and poured with purpose. Because in the echo of every pour lives truth, and it never fades. On this episode of Tactical Tequila Podcast with your host, Matt Wilson. If you enjoy the show, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it to your social media platforms. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show. Welcome back, everyone. Matt with Tactical Tequila Podcast here. And tonight we have a great show for you. We have Roberto Lopez, the one and the only for Zumbador Tequila. And he has built his legacy with calloused hands, unshakable faith. Roberto doesn't talk about the craft, he bleeds it. Zumbador was born from the dirt, carved by fire, and raised on belief. Every bottle strikes like thunder, a reminder that the real tequila doesn't whisper, it roars. This is Zumbador Tequila. Roberto, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and thank you for being on the show.
Hello, Matt. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be with you.
Let's just kind of dive into things here. What was the defining moment that pushed you from drinking tequila to dedicating your life to creating it?
Well, actually, it's a really funny story, Matt, because I was born into a tequilero family. I was really close to the process. And I kind always wanted to be behind the brand and to show people about good quality tequila as family does. And it was just a life path, because I always wanted to, but it was a lot of life moments that define and that gave me the opportunity to build a distillery and to bring me today with you. You know, the defining moment it's when my dad passed away in 2018. I inherited the ranch in Jalisco. I loved all the agave stuff and everything. And in 2020, when the pandemic came, everything was closed, and I wanted to share with people more. And that's where we decided to start building the distillery in late 2020.
You're at 1643. You mentioned a little bit about the brand. Tell us a little bit about Zumbador.
Well, Zumbador was born because, as I was telling you, I always wanted to share this story and stuff. And when we were looking after brands, we find out about Zumbador name or brand. And the Zumbador is really special because it means hummingbird in English. And the hummingbird is one of the natural pollinizers of the agave flower when the quiote grows. So it's everything connected with the agave nature, and I really love agave, so it makes a lot of sense. And in the pre-Hispanic cultures, here in Mexico and most of Mesoamerica or Latin America, they used to believe that the hummingbird was the connection with your ancestors. So I really felt and feel really good because I have a strong connection with my dad and my grandfather. I'm Roberto Lopez III. So it makes a lot of sense having the Zumbador brand of what we are trying to.
Talking about that, when someone hears Zumbador, what truth do you want to leave echoing in their chest long after their last sip?
First of all, and I think it's the hardest job, and what we are looking for is to share the agave flavors, the natural agave flavors without using anything else. And all the agave tequila tradition behind the bottle. As you know, we are trying to have the best quality tequila at the best price in the shelf, so everyone can have the tequila. So we want them to finish the last sip and to say, "What a great tequila!" And this is what tequila should be. You know.
Now, you talked a little bit about your dad and your grandfather and how close you were to them. What part of your upbringing would you say forged the grit behind Zumbador?
I think everything, I feel like life prepared me for this with a lot of experiences. I can't let a lot of different moments in my life with different relationships with uncles too. Yeah, and I always thought about my family, that talking to my dad and to my grandfather, that they could be like the rest of my family did, having a brand and telling a story and everything. So my last call with my dad, when he said goodbye, he told me, "I know that you will do great things." And that's like a big responsibility I have every day. And I try to give my 110% every day, you know? So Zumbador, that's why Zumbador is so special. That's why there are three hummingbirds in the label, because it represents that I'm Roberto Lopez III, and we're expecting to have a fourth hummingbird in the label in the future.
Oh, well, I guess congratulations would be in order then.
Thank you.
If your ancestors could taste the product that you've put out today, what would you say they would say about the path that you've taken?
I think I will have my ears a little bit red, because, of course, I'm not perfect. I try to give my best and to do the best, but I know I'm not perfect. But what tequila and the agave world and everything gives you the opportunity every day to get better. The tequila world is amazing, and it's really um, big world that you have always something to learn, something different, something to get better every day. So I think they will be really happy, really proud of the tequila, but they will be inspiring me like they do day a day to get better every day.
Was there ever a moment that you thought about walking away from it?
Well, yeah, actually, I was at an event last month, and they asked me about uh, what was the change about being only an agavero to become a tequilero. And my honest answer was, I used to be happy. You know, it was a small answer, uh, long story to tell, but it's because dealing with tequila, you have to be really careful in every step. And I think that makes Zumbador different, because we are overlooking every step. Um, we are trying to be perfectionist behind everything. We watch the cooking time to be every time in the year it's different to run the process. We have to run how many water we add into our crushing methods in the tahona to extract the most we can in the tahona, to use the precise fiber in our wood fermentation. In the roller mill, it's the same. We have to watch out the bricks level. We are obtaining all the juice in order that we can maintain quality. We have to be overlooking the fermentation as it lasts. We have two different fermentations. And then in distillation is where the magic happens. If you did your process in the right way, you are going to obtain a great tequila. And if you don't, you are not going to have any close to a good quality tequila at all. So this is the answer. It's that's why I used to be happy, because I didn't have these many responsibilities every day and every time.
So, kind of give the listeners an idea. What's the price point for Zumbador?
Well, Zumbador Blanco should be around 23 for $25. Our repo should be from 27 to 30, and the añejo should be around 36 to $40. Right now, we have some special editions, some single barrels, but they have to be somewhere near 45, 46, maybe $48. Our 95 proof añejo.
And now, is there a reason why it's on the lower price point compared to other brands?
Yes. First of all, because we want to share. As we started talking, tequila is about sharing. Tequila should be memory maker, not to buy a bottle and to go into a safe expecting if it's going to be 100% more the next day. It's to share, to have good times, to make friends, and to make memories. And there are a lot of good tequileros right now that they have been making tequila for 40, 50, 100 years that I will love one day to achieve that. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of things to get to know and to get better in order that we can be considered one of them in a near future. So that's why we decided to go into a lower price, because we want to earn our place in the industry.
As you brought this brand to light, were there any personal battles that you dealt with in order for Zumbador to exist?
Yes, there have been many. First, I can tell is the time, because I have two beautiful daughters and a wonderful wife that supports me in everything. But the time, it's been really rough, because I have to spend a lot of time, or most of my time, working, making tequila, uh, teaching about tequila. I have great people, yeah, by my side, like my uncle Juan. Everyone knows about him. Right now, we have Oscar Vasquez teaching me a lot of stuff too. We make things together, but they are amazing and they know a lot of things. But it's been really rough in the family side. It's been rough into making that kind of investment, and not knowing that you're going to do good, and deciding to go into a lower price market, or share is really difficult. So we are so happy that everything has worked till now. You know,
Now, in tequila making, what's one practice that you refuse to compromise on, no matter what the cost?
no hard feelings to anyone, but diffuser. I will never use the diffuser. Zumbador is about not taking any shortcut at all. It's running all the process as they should, and I have a lot of own pressure on my shoulders that it's my family history, which I'm really proud, and wouldn't we're not trying to take any shortcut like the diffuser does, to use less kilos, to don't cook the agave at all, to obtain all your juice in order that you can start your process of tequila.
If your agave could speak from the heart, what story would it tell about the struggle in order to survive?
I think they will be screaming, you know, for help because all agave cycle it's about stressing the agave. We have the four seasons year long, and we plant it, and the agave starts drying. And when it starts raining, the agave starts like stressing but trying to survive. That's how they grow their roots. But I'm sure that our agaves should definitely tell everyone the love that we have for the land itself, because we are really careful as we work a lot of on land for the agaves and every people that works behind, because we're all worried about who is the master distiller, but I don't know a single person that who can run the process alone. I think that the master distiller, it's just another person in the process of making.
Talking about your team and deciding or wondering who the master distiller is, how does your team capture the heartbeat of Jalisco in every drop of Zumbador?
They are just so proud about the process. There is all the people behind the brand is from Jalisco, and we are just trying to get tequila back to basics. As we grew up drinking tequilas, those great tequilas that now it's the no-brainer for everyone to sip out of them. We are trying that, to get back into the old days, to have a really good tequila, the best pricing that we can.
When people throw around the word authentic, how do you separate those who live it from those who try and sell it?
Well, I'm sorry for laughing, but today I was seeing a post in Instagram about a really good friend that said there can't be tequila if it's not authentic, because you couldn't use the tequila word out in any single bottle. But I think the division is about selling only a bottle because of business, and telling a story and a way of living out of a day a day. For me, that's the different. I wouldn't say authentic because there are another rules, but it is a way of living. It's a day a day.
Now, I'm going to throw a little kind of off the wall question to you. If Zumbador was a weapon, what would it be?
Zumbador will be a nuke, you know,
Okay.
because I think that Zumbador comes in a really difficult industry moment at a great pricing that could solve many necessities for the industry right now. We're trying to get that, and I imagine Zumbador being a nuke.
I like it. Now, if it had a scent that wasn't tequila, what would that scent be?
A scent?
Yes.
I think that's a tough one. Let me look for the scent translation in order that I don't answer in the wrong way.
I mean, there's no real wrong answer.
Oh, no, I know, but I want to. Okay, I would say it will be our. I don't know if you have seen Las Presas video, that it's the ranch where El Sabino Distillery is made at. But I have a special comparison, really bad comparison for myself, that a good tequila should smell and taste like it smells when it rains. We only have one raining season. So I think that it will be that special characteristic scent.
I like that. And, I don't think there could be a better scent other than cooked agave that is out there, like fresh cut grass or the smell of dust after it's rained. Just that unique smell. I like that a lot. Throughout introducing the brand into the markets, and was there anything ever on the early batches that taught you more about patience?
Definitely. I got almost surrounded many times, you know. I can remind my uncle telling me that if I was not willing to do things well, that it was better not to doing them at all, you know. So there is a lot of discipline needed and the will to get the closest to the perfectionist uh, way behind the process, you know, and it's different and it's every day. And every day you have to be running from the ovens to the stills. So yes, I messed it up many times before we could define our final profiling.
Now, what did that teach you about being patient throughout the process?
That good stuff takes your time. You can't rush the process because if you rush cooking, you are going to have raw agave, and you are not going to be able to get your juice at all, and you are going to start having some flavors that we don't want them in the tequila. If you rush your fermentation, you are not going to have good tequila at all. You know.
Now, I know you mentioned earlier about diffusers and not ever wanting to use them because of shortcuts. How do you balance purity and innovation in tequila making without losing your soul to shortcuts?
I think that will be Zumbador itself because we do use the Tahona, but we use a roller mill, which is a modern part of extracting their juice, you know? And we found the balance between the most artisanal way with the modern way of extracting. We in another brand we use autoclave with a combination with the ovens too. So we are trying to use, but almost all traditional methods in order to use this. Also, we use the wooden fermentation with the steel fermentation, no, with the steel no fiber fermentation. So we found that balance, you know.
Now, in your distillery, there are quite a few pieces of equipment. What piece of equipment in your distillery has the best story, and which one has the wildest?
The best story, and I hope you to see it really soon, is we started with two really small steels. They were copper coil steel steels, but they are really small. You know, one is like 350 liters. I could be carrying it right now, and the other was like 500 liter. But they were really good in order so we can taste what we were looking for. Because when you go bigger, you get bigger messes. So it was good for the moment when we started, and it's really funny because I keep them in the distillery right now. And right now we have almost all our stills are 5,000 liters. So I always tell all our visitors, look, this was my first still, you know. What was the other question?
Which one was the wildest story?
The wildest story. Let me think about the equipments, right?
Yes.
I think it's going to be the bowling machine because I was talking to one of my uncles and he asked me, "How are you doing with your distillery?" And I'm so happy. We're building it, you know, back here like 2 or 3 years ago. And he asked me, what are you missing?" And I was like, "It will be lovely to have a bowling machine." And he was like, I have one. It's an old one, but you can have it. And I was like, okay, but I was not looking to spend any money right now into bowling machines. And he was like, okay, but you have a bunch of agave. You have many agave. So we obtained that bowling machine for agave trucks.
Okay. So kind of going back and talking about Zumbador and it meaning the hummingbird, which you often correlate with being a gentle, docile bird. If it were a person, and even though we're on the hummingbird side of being gentle, but what kind of warrior would Zumbador be?
It's going to be an answer near to nuke, but it will be a new kind of warrior because it will be one of the strongest ones, but it will be in the first lines, you know?
What emotion do you want Zumbador to trigger in someone who's had the worst day of their life when they sip it?
Yeah, I'm thinking on many, but first of all, love, because Zumbador is made with a lot of love every day, not only uh, uh, from me, about over 80, 90 persons working out for Zumbador that to be able to exist, you know? And the other, I would say, confidence. Zumbador is always there for you at the right price point.
What would you say the loudest truth is behind this being more of a quiet bottle? What would you say the loudest truth is?
Quality over everything.
I love that. Quality hands down beats quantity any day of the week.
Yes, that was a top one. I feel like in my college final exam right now.
Fair enough. I'll try and not make it as college exam.
No, no, no. It's perfect. It's perfect. But that one was a top one.
How do you turn failure into fuel inside the tequila industry?
I think every day is a new opportunity to do things right. There is not a single person that has made everything in the right way since the beginning. And I really think that the only way to learn is to mess it up sometimes. Remember when I was telling you that I got my ears a lot of times from my uncle and from Oscar too. Um, I think it's only to think positively and to give you the chance to make mistakes so you can know the mistakes in the day after. So you are not going to do those mistakes again. You know, I think it's in a personal way of seeing things.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the artist, and he's long passed away, but the artist Bob Ross.
Yes, of course. Happy tree.
Happy treat, happy little mistakes. Yes, happy little mistakes. That's how you get through it. You learn from it, and you adapt and you grow to it.
Yes, and as I was telling you, I think that every one of us should give us the chance to do things wrong, not look to do them wrong, but if you failed, it's a new opportunity to do things right. You know?
And talking about doing things right, and we talked a little earlier about the three hummingbirds on the label, and it's symbolizing you, your dad, your grandfather, and one day there will be a fourth hummingbird on there. And when it comes to legacy, what does legacy mean to you within the brand?
I think it means everything because I'm one of the few persons that could choose what to do for living, you know. And I chose to become a tequilero. I have a lot of pressure because I look up to my, of course, the close ones like my uncle Juan and Oscar, but there are the rest of my family, my uncles. I've always loved my family's stories and history itself. And for me, legacy is that to watch out for our family's name more than money or fame.
What line would you never cross, even if it meant faster growth?
Sacrificing quality, as you were talking. If we had to, if we were only able to produce a number of bottles, I will stick to that number of bottles, good quality bottles, than sacrificing quality.
And as we've talked a little bit about the industry, what is one thing in the tequila industry that you're sick of correcting?
There are many things. I have really fun stories. One of them is, what's the size of the tree that gives you agave? And it's like, what? What kind? The fruit is really big, but I think that
That would be the first time I've heard that, by the way.
it was on a Spanish friend. It's a really funny story. Um, no, but I think that when people ask and tells, can you uh, define if it's a good quality tequila? And I have an easy answer for everyone. I don't like talking about brands because there are many good brands out there. But you have to get drunk and to have a lot of the tequila you think, and you have to wait and see how you wake up, and you're going to find that tequila is good, at least for you. But I always tell them there are some flavors that shouldn't be in your tequila, talking mostly about Blanco. And that's the way you can define if it's a good quality tequila or if it's not.
We've talked about this. When and I know you don't want to talk about brands, and this really doesn't necessarily have you talking about brands, but when you see celebrities slap their names on bottles, how does that make you feel?
Well, I think, remember, I'm a positive person. I think that there is more opportunity for us, That's the first thing I imagine. But that comes, as we were talking, there's two different people behind the tequila. Some trying to make only money behind beautiful bottles and a name, and others that we are trying to tell a story and to tell everyone about our day a day. I think that's the main difference.
What is one thing that you would say that old school tequileros get right, but the new generation of tequileros just doesn't get it?
I think that's a great, great question. And I think it has to be a lot with patience. And you were telling it, because when I grew up with an uncle that used to go to the agave fields every day with the jimadores behind and telling them which piña to harvest, you know? And of course, he had for me the best tequila back then. And he was watching after every single detail. And I think that the new generations, we want to have everything quick. And if we can sell one, we have to sell 10. And I think we rush many things that shouldn't be rushed.
What piece of advice would you give to a distiller or master distiller who has forgotten what passion is?
I will take him into the stills. He's a master distiller. And I could ask him, please make a product that you love to see if I love it. Because there comes the pride of the master distiller. If you like it, it's okay, but if you don't like it, please tell me why. And I'm going to start making changes in order that you are going to tell me that you like it. So I think that's how the flame is going to come again alive.
Now, kind of going back to the warrior mindset and, what kind of weapon it would be, but if the tequila world were a battlefield, where does Zumbador plant its flag within the battlefield?
I'll say in the main battlefield, not at the top, just because there is going to be seen by the most people.
Okay. Throughout the process, what would you say the darkest chapter behind your success story is, and what did it teach you about resilience?
Um, I think last year that we started, it was a really rough year. Um, because you know that you are doing the things right, but things are not happening as you need or as you wish to. So you have to be very intelligent to stick to what you are doing and try to get better every day. But it was maybe our sloppiest, worst year.
If you could pick one thing that drives you the most, would it be fear of failure or um, hunger for legacy?
I'd say the hunger for legacy. And as we were talking, not for money or fame, just to do things right and to show everyone that we are running things that it should, as they should be, that we are being with the patience, with everything that we need, and that we're a serious player right now. In the industry, but always trying to keep our families and our name in the top, you know?
Now, when the bottle's empty and the crowds are gone, who is Roberto Lopez?
Right now, I'm a really tired man. It was a tough year, but I'm a family man. I love to have all my 3 minutes or free time with my family to stick with them. I love being with my uncle or with Oscar, with my cousin too. Not working because we are always working and just asking them, including my family, how are you? How was your day? How are you doing? You know?
And that's just one of the best things, is especially like coming home for the day and seeing your wife and just, hey, how was your day? Those are just the most simple and appreciative moments that a person can get. And even with kids, asking your kid how their day was at school, and just catching up on the totality of what's going on for the day.
Yes.
Now, as we've talked about legacy and things of that nature, what would you say that your younger self would say to you right now as he sees where you're at today with Zumbador?
He couldn't believe it, because for me it was always a dream. I was always looking up and always wanted to be in this side. As I was telling you, I used to have bunch of my uncle's brands tequila in Mexico, in Mexico City. And I was trying to educate everyone to drink good tequila, and to tell them why that was the best tequila they could drink. So I think that it will be hard for a younger me to believe that I managed to have the dream, to live the dream.
I love it. So, how do you keep your humility alive while you're building an empire?
Living every day and to see things in the right way. As I was telling you, we couldn't run a single day without all the people that help us. I have one special person in the fields every day that his name is Carlitos. But we have between 80 and 90 persons working every day, and we couldn't do the things without every single of them, And I think, and I always tell this, I would rather to have any one of them as a face of Zumbador rather than someone famous only trying to make more money.
When the final agave of your lifetime is harvested, what do you want to be remembered for?
I'm a warrior. After this conversation with you, I feel like a warrior. No, no, that I really working. That I was a really working person that managed to accomplish his dreams, and that always tried to share with everyone what we do at El Sabino, And I'm not only referring to Zumbador right now. To every single product that comes out from El Sabino Distillery has a lot of love, a lot of work, and a lot of people behind every single day to happen, to exist.
Now, this next question kind of just coincides with that one, but you're 6 feet in the ground or cremated, and I like to ask this question to a lot of my guests, but you're 6 feet under, you're cremated, whatever your wishes are. In one sentence, sum up your legacy.
In one sentence, a bunch of sentences. Um, I, I'm going to say two. The first one is work hard, dreams happen. And the second one is to recognize all the people that works every day, because I, I can't forget all the people that works every day in the fields, more than in the distillery. Distillery is more like an industry, but people in the fields, it's amazing how they love what we do, and that's one of the main reasons that I love agave plants, because it's been generations for this family working every day in the fields, and they love to work in the fields, And right now we have a lot of technology. We can make ground um, studies and stuff to know what's the soil composition and what the agave needs. But what we all need is this old people to tell you what does agave need, and it's going to be more specific and better than all the studies and everything we have right now in 2025.
Perfect. Well, Roberto, where can everyone find you on social media?
Well, my Instagram is underscore Roberto Lopez underscore. And it's we have the Zumbador Tequila Instagram too. I think we have a TikTok and the Facebook page. And if not, I'm always in mostly all of the events right now that we're starting, and I'll be happy to talk to anyone.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.